Hello everybody, how are you doing today? And welcome back to the garden. It's not a nice day today. I'm dodging the showers all day long. The weather is really crazy today, but there's still work to be done. We're going to be preparing the veggie area for sowing and planting later on in the week. Let's go. As I said just a minute ago, I'm not quite sure if this video gonna work because I can see the rain clouds approaching. There's actually one coming over the horizon over there. It's crazy weather today. The soil is still dry, but we are getting showers every half an hour or so. But they are not very heavy showers. It's not wetting the soil properly. But anyway, we're gonna try and do our best today. My plan for today is to prepare the veggie area for sowing and planting, probably tomorrow or the next day. I want to create my salad beds. Actually, let me get you closer here and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, I think you can see me better now. So the idea for today is preparing my veggie plot for the sowing and planting later on in the week. First of all, I want to sort out this bed here, just in front of me. I have my broad beans growing here in this long bed, but in front of the broad beans I have another 50-70 centimeters of space. I want to tidy it up, maybe dig it over. Yeah, that's gonna need digging. The soil is really compacted here. And that's gonna be my salad bed, probably lettuce, mizuna, maybe beetroot. I'll see. All the greens, really. I'll see what I have in stock in terms of the seeds, but that's the first thing to do. And then I have rest of the garden. As I said in one of the previous videos, there's not that much space really left after all the planting that I've done already. I'll show you that in a second, but I need to sort out that area as well. And also I want to drag out all the potato pots from the greenhouse. I don't have any access to the greenhouse really now, and it's a pain for watering and stuff like that. So the potatoes gonna go outside. We're gonna have to find some space to put them in. But yeah, that's the plan for today. But for now, let me just show you the rest of the veggie area and I'll show you what I need to do. And here we are. This is the bed I was talking about. Here are my broad beans all along that bed, going all the way to the end. But as I said, here in front of the broad beans, between the broad beans and the strawberry patch, there's quite a bit of space. So I am planning to create long narrow bed for my greens, for my salads. That's going to be first item on the agenda. I already started. I've put my spare onions here. Whatever I couldn't fit in the onion bed, I put here. They are the leftovers, really, the weakest one. So I don't know how much I'm gonna get from them. There were only like 7 or 8 of them, but still some of them are growing, so we'll see. I do have some random potatoes growing in that bed. I don't remember, probably last year I was growing potatoes here and they always come back. So I decided I'm gonna leave them. Why not? I might have a few more potato plants. They are really nice and healthy specimens. But all the way around, I need to dig it over and level the ground. And that's gonna give me quite a few meters. That's like 5, 6, maybe 7 meter long bed, narrow one. But it should be enough for my greens. And let me swing you around to the area that is not occupied at the moment. And this whole area L shape from the parsley pot all the way around the greenhouse, all the way to the compost area. This is all unoccupied grounds and it needs to be prepared for sowing and planting. As with the other area, I have some volunteer potato here. I will leave that one here. It can grow. But all the rest, I'm not quite sure yet if I'm gonna dig it. Probably not. I might just use the fork to loosen up the soil without digging. I think that's gonna be a better idea. And after that, I need to sort out my greenhouse. Let me show you inside. And here is the greenhouse. As you can see, it's completely full. The whole mid section is taken by my potato containers. They are growing fantastic, really. I've just noticed one of them is trying to flower already. So that means the potato is going to start forming very soon. But with the containers here in the middle, I have really no access to water the end of the greenhouse. Not that it needs much watering here. The lettuce is all bolting now. I can't keep up with eating the lettuce. But I need some access to the second floating shelf where I have my sweet peppers. They need constant watering and it's a pain to get there really with all the containers here in the way. So the last job of the day gonna be moving those containers out, if the weather permits. Let's see. Okay, so there's nothing to it really. I just need to dig over this strip of land. As I said, I'm gonna try to avoid disturbing the potatoes. I have a couple of foxgloves here growing as well. They can stay, why not? They're gonna give me some nice splash of color later on. But yeah, this ground definitely needs digging over. I don't remember last time I dug this area, but surprisingly, the soil is still quite soft. That shouldn't take me long at all. Few minutes. As I said, it's a narrow strip of land. 50 centimeters, maybe 70-ish. I'm leaving the potato in the ground. I decided I'm gonna have my salad area here. The broad beans are growing very nice. I can see fruits forming on all of them, and they're gonna be ready in, I would say, a month or so. And by that time I should have my cabbage seedlings. I think I'm gonna plant cabbage in place of the broad beans after the harvest. But in the meantime, I can have some salads growing here, because as I showed you before, the lettuce in the greenhouse is all bolting already, and it won't be long until my outdoor lettuce start bolting as well. We were getting ready nice hot weather. Nice for me, not so nice for the lettuce. The lettuce doesn't like hot weather really. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna plant here. Lettuce definitely. Mizuna definitely. I might do some beetroot, or I might use beetroot in one of the designated growing areas. Not sure. That's the problem this time of the year. I'm always running out of space to grow my veggies. My veggie area is not that big really. It's 10 by 10 meter, including the greenhouse, compost area and the bee area. So the growing area is not that big, but it's still enough for me. It's feeding me almost the whole year. With the veggies, I hardly ever buy any veggies in the shop. I started buying onions and potatoes recently. I ran out of onions and potatoes. Well, I didn't get any onions at all last year, thanks to onion white rot. But I was using my leeks instead of onions, but I ran out of leeks as well. So I started buying onions, finally. It's not bad really. It's May, so it lasted me, well, 6 months or so. Not bad at all. You might have noticed I have quite a bit of straw here on the ground. This is all chicken bedding. I spread it, must be well more than a month ago. So it shouldn't be that hot anymore. This area here is really, really compacted. I don't think it has been dug in 5 years probably. I try to avoid digging if I can. But sometimes every couple of years it's good to loosen up the soil. And if you have any perennial weeds, that's going to give you a chance to weed as well. Like that thistle, for example. That was just a seedling, really, but if I left it here, that would start spreading. As I said, it's not gonna take me long at all. I'm almost done already. Digging in this chicken manure gonna help as well, I think. The broad beans, potatoes, stuff like that, they don't mind. Fertilizer on the soil, but for seedlings and the seeds, it's better to mix it with the soil. They don't like strong fertilizers, really, and you couldn't get stronger than chicken manure. And here we are, one job almost done. I'm just gonna use the rake and try to level it up. I have a feeling this bed gonna work really well for me. I tend to sow my greens and salad in small batches and often. So this section should be lovely for them. Vine beetroot, never-ending battle. I have a feeling this narrow bed gonna be a perfect solution for me. I tend to plant my lettuce, salad, greens, stuff like that in small batches and often, and this small area should be perfect for that. I can sow a little bit of lettuce, maybe some radishes, maybe some spring onions, some mizuna every couple of weeks, every 2-3 weeks in different places, and that should give me constant supply of greens through the summer, really. So I don't need a huge area, just a little bit and often. That's the name of the game for salads. Okay, and here we are, one bed done. Hopefully we will get proper rain sooner or later. Maybe not just yet, but hopefully we'll get some. Otherwise I'm gonna have to start watering the garden, which I'm trying to avoid. But yeah, one bed is done. I can start on the other ones. Let me show you. All right, and here is rest of the available space, as I said, from the parsley container all the way here and this way to the compost area is all unused ground for the moment. I have my main crop potatoes growing in front of me from the parsley container towards you, and all this needs slight loosening. I'm not gonna dig it over really, just loosen it up with the fork. It doesn't need digging, it's really nice soft soil, just enough to break up the hardest clumps. Here actually was my path last year. The soil feels a bit compacted, so I can flip it over. For the rest of it, as you can see, it's quite loose. As I said before, I haven't decided what I'm gonna grow here yet, but I need some space for beans, cucumbers. Not sure if I'm gonna grow any carrots, definitely beetroots, but I might squeeze some beetroots in the narrow bed. I need some courgettes. Pumpkins probably go behind the greenhouse, but I'll show you that later on, much later on. I haven't even started sowing pumpkins yet. But yeah, today it's just preparation day, getting it ready for hopefully tomorrow or the following day. I'm changing the layout of my garden slightly. Before I had 4 long narrow beds. This year I'm kind of mixing it up. I'm gonna have smallish rectangular square beds. I'll see how it's gonna work out for me. I might go back to the long, narrow beds next year. But yeah, with the crazy weather we are having, actually it was only 4 degrees this morning and it's May already. Riddle me that. But no damage, no frost, thanks God, because the strawberries and the potatoes are out. Actually, I'll show you the strawberries in a second when I finish the digging. There's so many fruits on them. Being here in the east of England is really lucky for me. This soil is like black gold. I don't really have to add any compost to it really. I was gardening for years in London before, and soil in London is like clay. It's like trying to dig in concrete really. This one here, all through the garden really, is like shop bought compost. It's so easy to work. I just realized it's first week of May already, second week of May almost, and I haven't sown anything in the ground yet. That's really unusual for me, but we are getting really strange weather here in UK. As I said, just last night we went down to 4 degrees. I was watching the Met Office forecast for tomorrow, and they are saying in rural places risk of frost again tonight, so there's no rush really. Whatever I'm gonna sow this week or next week, I'm gonna catch up with anything I would have sown weeks ago, with the risk being if I did sow anything a few weeks ago, it either wouldn't germinate or it would die really. It's too cold. Let's pause for the fighter jets. Okay, I think the jet fighters are gone for the time being. What I was saying, I don't remember. Yeah, anyway, it's been crazy spring. If you've seen any of the previous videos I was uploading, we were getting weather close to 20 degrees during the day. But night temperatures were dropping really drastically all this time still. So there's really no point sowing anything in the ground. The good indication is look at your weeds. If they are germinating and growing fast, it's time to sow your own seeds. That's why I'm getting ready to sow mine. Because last couple of days I spent weeding the whole area. The weeds are relentless. And seems like the rain passed me by on both sides. I can see the dark sky and I can see the rain clouds on the horizon. Nothing here again. It's really dry this year. What are you planning to sow? Or what did you sow already? Seems like I'm a bit late this year. Let me know in the comments. As I said before, this is lovely soil. It's going so easy. The fork just slides in the ground. Not much pressure needed really. I feel for you guys trying to garden in the clay soil. I spent over 10 years battling my clay in London. So this is definitely improvement. Okay, let me continue and finish this area, and I'll catch you up when we are sorting out the greenhouse. Okay, and here we are. That didn't take long at all, maybe half an hour or so. This whole thing needs raking and dividing into smaller plots for specific fruits and veg, but that can wait for tomorrow or the next day when I'm ready to sow my veggies. And now, what's happening with the chickens? They are fighting, crazy birds. But anyway, now we can move to the greenhouse and sort out the potatoes. Let's go. So you've seen the greenhouse before. I just need to move all those potato pods. I have 7 of them, I think 6 or 7. I think I'm gonna place them just here close to the beehives and next to the greenhouse. That's where they were growing last year, and it worked quite well. The only problems are the bees. When they're getting cranky, it's not a very nice place to be. Anyway, that's the only place I have. So I'm just gonna drag out all those potato pods from the greenhouse and place them here. That shouldn't be too difficult. The pots are filled with compost all the way through, so it's not that heavy. If I fill them up with the soil instead of compost, that would be a problem because they are big pots. But anyway, let me do some work. The potatoes themselves are growing really nice in the heat of the greenhouse, but it's time for them to face the elements. It's crazy, they are so much bigger than the one growing outdoors, and they've been planted at the same time. That goes to show what an asset greenhouse is. If you can afford it and if you have space, get a greenhouse or a polytunnel. Let me continue. Voila, here we are. That wasn't too difficult. Let me show you the greenhouse inside now. Well, that feels like a huge space again. I'm gonna take you back here and show you what's growing in a second, since I have access to my greenhouse already. Let's have a strawberry. They are really delicious and so early as well. Let me show you the greenhouse. So we have all our container potatoes outside here, as I said, next to the beehives and next to the greenhouse, but let's have a look inside and admire the newly acquired space. It changes so much. I can finally get all the way inside and do some weeding and watering. As I said before, the lettuce, almost all of them are bolting now. The leaves are still edible, they are not bitter. I don't know what's the variety of this lettuce. I've been saving the seeds for years and years, like with most of my veggies. But it's not getting bitter just yet, although it's almost flowering already. But without the potato containers, I can get access to my sweet peppers finally. That was a hassle and a half to water all the seedlings. It's going to be much easier now. They are still tiny. As I said in the video when I was transplanting them, I wasn't planning on transplanting them so early, but I didn't have a choice. But we can have a quick look on all the flowers. Everything is germinating. Here are the hollyhocks. Lovely, nice growth. Marigolds, small and big version, and cosmos here on that side. As I said, without labels, cosmos and marigold. spot the difference. I wouldn't know what's what. Here are my tomatoes. They are doing well. I have a couple of them in the conservatory growing as a backup. Actually, the ones in the conservatory are much bigger than those. It's much warmer in the conservatory. And just next to them and behind are my sunflowers. Almost all of them germinated. I was putting 2 seeds per pot, and most of the pots have 2 of them germinating. There's a couple of dots. There's no show in this one or that one in the corner here. But no matter, that's plenty enough if they're gonna work for me. So this is the lettuce area, and here on the left hand side are my Mizuna plants. As I said before, I'm trying to collect the seeds from them, so the plant is maturing at the moment. I am waiting for it to dry and ripen. It shouldn't be too long. Looks like the plants are kind of dying. They look scraggly already, but that's good. I want them to ripen as soon as possible so I can put my tomatoes in this area. And yeah, that's the greenhouse at the moment. I can start putting stuff here again, probably some trays of seeds. We'll see. And this is the video for today. I don't think I have any more for you today. Thank you so much for watching and joining me in the garden, and I'll see you back here very soon. Bye!